I don't understand how Dan Slott can make such a confidently told story like Superior Spider-Man, which was an excellent tale, and then go and make something so stupid and inconsistent and just all over the place as the Clone Conspiracy. What a pile of crap this book was. I used to read Amazing Spider-Man issue by issue, like I did all of my comics, but since my local comic book store closed down, I can't do that, obviously. So I've been getting these trades, and I got this trade when it came out, and I hadn't actually gotten around to reading it till now, for whatever reason. Just like I wasn't all that interested in the story anyway. I've got this whole run by Dan Slott up to Volume 5 from the all-new Marvel Now, or post-Secret Wars Spider-Man book that's been going since 2015. But, like, what the hell, man? What happened? Superior Spider-Man was so well done. And then, like, he went on to this, where Peter Parker was actually applying himself, and it was great. The writing itself wasn't the best, but, like, I understood why this made sense for the Spider-Man character, why Peter Parker was in a place where he was at. I mean, of course, like, something like that can't last. Peter Parker shouldn't be a billionaire industrialist because it ruins the everyman part of Spider-Man, but he also shouldn't be some loser who takes photos for the rest of his life. He should be like a scientist, but not like, you know, head of his own company. I mean, it makes sense to the character. He's smart enough to be this person. He's smart enough to do this, and in fact, he's smarter than the vast majority of the Marvel geniuses anyway. But it just doesn't. It kind of ruins the character. But then, like, eventually, so that's fine anyway. It's something new. It's something interesting. It's, you know, it obviously wouldn't last, but it was something to read. Not that it was the best story of all time or anything like that. But then, like, eventually it started losing steam, and it kept losing steam for issues and issues, until finally it was just, like, a major chore to get through, and, it bored the hell out of me by the time I finished Volume 4. And that's why I just didn't get around to Volume 5 for such a long time. Like, even Regent, which was an event, a sort of a story I was excited to get into, like, I just didn't care by the time it was over because it was so disappointing. Like, there's a cool moment here in Volume 4 where Spider-Man holds a crane, but that's the only, like, Spider-Man-y moment. Yeah, even in Volume 4 we were doing this stupid clone stuff. There's no mystique to it either. Like, there's no, like, twists or turns or anything like that of any interest. They're like, it's just predictable crap. And it's kind of an insult to one character in particular, to Ben Reilly. I mean, it goes out of its way to... I don't mind Ben Reilly being a different person. I mean, I like the Scarlet Spider series with Kane in it, but we already have one like that. We already have a character who's willing to do that thing. Why would we need Ben Reilly to come back and fill the role of Kane? You revived Kane in the story anyway. Kane returns in this book. We knew since Spider-Verse that he wasn't actually dead. He died, and like 2 seconds later he was fine. Why do you need to bring back a beloved character like Ben Reilly just so that you can change the character into a character we already have? I don't give a damn. I don't want the Scarlet Spider, the original Scarlet Spider, who is basically just Peter Parker, to have like this dark, twisted turn and be like this murderer. He was Spider-Man, like the genuine Spider-Man for a while. I don't want Spider-Man running around killing people. He is Peter Parker. It was only because of like the traumatic experiences he went through in this book that he became a different character. But then you're saying that like, oh, Spider-Man's corruptible, even though he's already learned his lesson of power and responsibility. Ben Reilly went through all that, like Peter Parker did, and he acted as Spider-Man, which made him different from Kane. Kane was like created with this different philosophy, this different outlook on life. But Ben Reilly was in the exact same place Peter Parker was. So you're basically saying, like, Peter Parker's corruptible. Peter Parker, under the right circumstances, would become this fucking vigilante murdering bastard like the Punisher. Like, can you just let Ben Reilly rest in peace? Does every character have to come back? Like, holy crap. Gwen Stacy's in this, not the original Gwen Stacy, but a clone. And they bring up this question of like, are clones legitimate? Are they the people that they're cloned from? And it sort of like tries to give you an answer, and then it just gives up on it. Like it forgets that it even asked the question, which it barely did. There's no philosophy here. There's no sort of like take away what you will, even like Civil War, for example. It gave you a moral conundrum. It posed a philosophical question. This kind of tries to do that a little bit and then doesn't, and then it forgets that it even tried and just throws the whole idea out, and then the book's over in like 3 pages. Like, what the hell? And then Miles Warren and Ben Reilly, they go to like this weird house that Ben Reilly had a bunch of Warrens create. Which basically, by the way, Ben Reilly's a fucked up dude. Like even before he kills anybody. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because, like, near the middle of this book, we see Ben Reilly, after having gone through all those traumatic experiences, decide not to kill Warren because it would be wrong. And that's not what they do. And he's already, like, come up with his new philosophy. Because basically what happens is Warren kills Reilly over and over and over and over and brings him back to try to like figure out how to fix the cellular degeneration in his clones, which was already a problem we solved in like the 90s with Ben Reilly, because Ben Reilly only died because he died. He only dissolved rather because he died. So I don't know why that's a problem again, first of all. But second of all, basically what happened is Ben Reilly like escaped, and then he was going to kill Warren, but then he didn't, because of course he didn't. He's supposed to be like Spider-Man, but he figures out the problem and he solves it by creating this pill to stop cellular degeneration, because Peter Parker's smart, and then he like gives it to people, and he's trying to like revive all the dead people in the world or whatever, which doesn't make any sense either, because not only do we not have the resources or space for that, but like basically his philosophy would be that everybody has to live forever at that point, which is awful and monstrous, and nobody would want to live forever. If you think you'd want to live forever, let me tell you right now, you would not think that after a good while on this planet. You would change your mind eventually. I guarantee you. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so basically what he does is he creates a bunch of Warrens and then tells them that they're all fake, or that he forgot who the real Warren is, the real like original Jackal, and he becomes the Jackal, Ben Reilly. And, oh my god, it's such a convoluted bullshit mess. But anyway, he gives them like this pill, and made them all like believe that they were the fake one, like a fucking monster, and basically turned like dozens of these Warrens into like slaves, and basically had them working for him. And then he made like this village of all the dead people in Peter Parker's life, who Peter Parker's ever encountered or whatever, except for some reason Uncle Ben. Because he's trying to like, yeah, also like he desecrates the grave of Uncle Ben, and Peter Parker stops him. And anyway, by the end of the story, nothing happens between point A and B. of any significance to the character, other than the fact that like clones are made and die. But nothing like between the point in which Ben Reilly comes back to life and then decides not to kill the Jackal in the end of the book, nothing happens to change his outlook or philosophy on life. But when he meets the Jackal, when they have their final confrontation, so basically all the fake Warrens die, and so the real Warren knows like that it's him, and so he becomes the Jackal again. And Ben Reilly and the Jackal fight in like a burning house, and then Ben Reilly like throws him into a wall, and then collapses the house on him on purpose and burns him alive. And then he like fights these paramedics and jumps away, and that's like the last part of the book. And so basically this character goes from being like kind of still Peter Parker and that he won't kill, to just sort of deciding without any sort of catalyst that he's now a killer, and it's really fucking stupid. God, it's dumb. And so he's saying, like, basically, you know, I'm not a hero anymore. I've learned what that gets me. I'm sure this is incredibly rambly, but it's really... There's just so much bullshit that I can't sort of file it all into a 100% coherent rant. But also, like, the book's incomplete. This is not the whole story within Amazing Spider-Man. So if you read the Amazing Spider-Man, you have to read... This is a problem I had with, like, 90s comics as well. Like, nothing's complete. You have to buy a whole bunch of supplementary crap. Like, I'm reading the Amazing Spider-Man. Why can I not get a whole story within this book? Because we start to follow, like, Kane, who is a clone of Peter Parker, and as such, he's super smart, and so he sort of tries to, like, go around and cure, like, the whole clone thing or whatever, and Spider-Gwen joins him from Earth 56, and they jump around the multiverse, and then their story just sort of stops. Like, we don't see him anymore, and so they're in their own book or whatever, which is fucking stupid, because, like, I can't afford to just read everything Marvel publishes. If I'm reading this book, if I paid money for this book, then I should get a complete book. I'm okay with tie-ins, but don't start a story in this book and then tell you have to read another book to finish it. That's bullshit, and it's a scam. But anyway, later on in the story, like, a spider, or a clone of Gwen Stacy is there with Miles Warren, and I thought it was Spider-Gwen because she takes the place of the original clone. She, like, impersonates her, and then she's no longer impersonating her by this point. But I don't know that because I didn't get every other fucking Spider book under the sun, because I can't afford to do that. I'm a student. So I have no idea what's going on at this point, because you have to read a bunch of other books to figure that out. And so I have to sort of piece together what happened in those other books. I don't know where the hell Kane is. He just disappeared at some point. I have no idea where he is. I don't know where Spider-Gwen is either. Like, she just sort of stopped at some point in the original Gwen Stacy clone. Came back and took her place by Warren's side. But I didn't know that until much later. I just assumed that she was still Spider-Gwen impersonating the clone, because that's where she was like 5 minutes ago. So now it's like a different person again. It's like the original person, and I have no indication that anything's changed. So they spit on the character. They don't give you a whole story, and it's incoherent and a mess anyway. There's character changes that don't make any sense. Nothing happens to Ben Reilly between his resurrection by the hands of Miles Warren and the end of the book, and where he kills Miles Warren, that would indicate any sort of like change in ideology or philosophy. And in fact, he says to Peter Parker like 5 minutes prior to that, like 2 issues before that, which takes place in continuity, like a couple of hours maybe before the end of the book where he kills Miles, that they have the same values and philosophies. So what the hell happened in between there? I was reading the whole book, and there's no like other book with a missing piece or anything in this case even. It's just he makes a massive character flip, and it doesn't make any sense. All this book did was set up other stuff. Nothing happened in this book. It's just a bunch of incoherent bullshit to get Dr. Octavius back, which is fine. You can't keep Doc Ock dead forever, fair enough. But, like, so you're launching a Scarlet Spider book off the back of that, and you're launching a Superior Spider-Man book, like a Superior Octopus book off the back of that. Also, aren't there, like, how many active Spider people are there in the Marvel Universe right now? Too many. There's Miles Morales, or, like, Spidey, which is fucking stupid. I love Miles Morales, but that name is dumb, and also he was a redundancy in the main Marvel universe. He should be in his own universe where Peter Parker's dead. Miles Morales is a much more interesting character when Peter Parker's dead. Anyway, Miles, Peter, Miguel O'Hara, who's popping around, Kane, the Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, Spider-Gwen hangs out there all the time. We've got, Silk, who hangs out there all the time. We've got Anya, Spider-Girl. We've got, who's the other person? Damn it. Anyway, we've got another Spider-Person as well. I just can't remember who that is. It's too many Spider people. It's like 9 Spider people. It's too much. Too many Spider people. You've got them all in one universe, and they make each other redundant. It's dumb and it's stupid. I don't like it. Please stop. Please stop making more Spider people. Stop bringing back old Spider people as well, please. Like, Dr. Octavius is now another Spider person. Yeah, that's the other one. Dr. Otto Octavius is like the 9th Spider person in this universe now. Everybody's a Spider person. There's too many Spider people. There's more Spider people than there are Avengers. Oh my god, stop, please. Please stop it. Have them in separate universes or something. You can't have, like, what makes Peter Parker special now? Nothing. It's dumb. He's older. That's the difference between him and all the other Spider people. Or not even, because Kane's the exact same age as him. It's not like Miles Morales has like a distinctly different philosophy or whatever. He has the whole power and responsibility mantra as well. What makes Peter Parker unique? The fact that he's a genius? Okay, so is Otto Octavius. So are all his clones. What is the difference? What makes him special? Miguel O'Hara is a genius. What? He is not an interesting character anymore. He's a watered-down version of himself that's made more unspecial by the fact that there's so many damn Spider people. Dan Slott is a terrible Spider-Man writer. Superior Spider-Man was excellent. And as far as Dan Slott goes, I haven't read anything else from him that I thought was even close to that level. Dan Slott's not a competent writer. Dan Slott's not a particularly good writer. For Spider-Man, at least. I haven't read too much of his other stuff. And I don't like him. It's such a shame, too, because I thought he was such a great writer when Superior Spider-Man was going on, because that book is really good. But, what the hell, man? This is a 20-minute rant at this point, almost. I hope this is watchable, at least to some extent. I'll talk to you guys later. God damn it.